ABC News Live.
The stage for the World Cup is set. France punches its ticket to the grand finale of soccer with a win against Morocco, sparking grand celebrations in the streets of Paris. Tonight, ABC News Live takes a look at the powerhouse teams of France and their final matchup, Argentina, by the numbers. Only on ABC News, video shows a U.S. citizen captured in Ukraine released by Russia, part of a prisoner swap. Our Tom Sufi-Burge spoke with the Freed American moments after he was released, who says that Russians put him through unthinkable torture. Dozens of tornadoes reported over the last 48 hours. A mother and her 8-year-old son killed in Louisiana. Meteorologist Rob Marciano is tracking this deadly string of storms. Vulnerable and eager to make money, undocumented migrants have become the target of cartels running illegal marijuana farms, luring them in with the promise of work. Tonight, ABC News Live is giving you an up-close look at the human cost of growing marijuana.
I mean, they're desperate. They're totally at the mercy of the people who are their contractors.
Heartache for millions of fans after the shocking sudden death of Stephen "Twitch" Boss. The DJ of the Ellen DeGeneres show was known for his energy, dance moves, and life as a father and husband. What we know about his passing and how Ellen is responding. Another interest rate hike from the Federal Reserve, and while it's the lowest increase so far, it's still the 7th of the year. How does the Federal Reserve make the call to raise these rates, and who's at the helm of those decisions? Our Elizabeth Schulze breaks it all down. A bold satirical play brings blackness in America to center stage, but after just weeks, the curtain is soon closing on Ain't No Mo. As shows helmed by creators of color are often forced to end early, my conversation with Lee Daniels and Jordan E. Cooper, the youngest playwright on Broadway ever.
The overall arcing message for me is to be proud of where we come from, and to be proud of who we are, you know. It's not easy being black and white.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We're tracking a string of deadly tornadoes tonight as a severe weather system makes its way across the country. But we begin overseas tonight in Ukraine with a dramatic rescue mission to free a U.S. Air Force veteran captured by Russian forces in Ukraine earlier this year. ABC News was given exclusive access inside the rescue mission, which resulted in not only the release of an American, but 64 Ukrainian soldiers. Swady Murakezi had been living in Ukraine since 2018. He says he spent 3 months in a prison and was tortured. Murakezi's release comes less than a week after WNBA star Brittany Griner was freed in a high-stakes prisoner swap with Russia involving Victor Bout. And as the U.S. is actively trying to secure the release of American Paul Whelan, who's been sentenced to 16 years in prison on espionage charges. For more on how this latest mission played out, Tom Sufi-Burge leads us off with the daring mission and what comes next.
American Swady Murakezi walking out of Russian-controlled territory with just a small bag of belongings, but tonight free.
Slava Ukraine!
Glory to Ukraine and happy liberation, says an officer from Ukrainian military intelligence who got him out.
Swady, I'm Tom from ABC News.
Our team given exclusive access inside their rescue mission. After weeks of delicate negotiations, one man from Minnesota is heading home in time for Christmas.
Now, you know, it's possible. I'm in Ukrainian land, so it's quite overwhelming.
Relief?
Relief, yes.
Big relief?
Quite a relief, yes.
Earlier, our team in a convoy with the Ukrainians heading towards the front lines.
We're heading away from Ukrainian-controlled territory towards Russian-controlled land through the grey zone, effectively no man's land and the front lines. And there's effectively a 2-hour window, a ceasefire, within which the exchange has to be made. You're just about to go in and get Swady out. How complicated are these missions?
Andriy saying 64 Ukrainian prisoners part of a swap, with Swady allowed out of Russian-controlled territory too. Swady had left the US to live and work in southern Ukraine in 2020. When Russia invaded in February of this year, everything changed.
Well, at first, I woke up in the morning and there were bombings. And then I checked Instagram and there were videos of burned cars. And first I thought it was a prank. It was not real. There's no way it could be real.
Swady then joining the protests in his home city of Kherson against the Russian occupation. But he was later arrested, and when the Russians discovered pictures of him formerly serving in the US Air Force, he says he was tortured.
They punched me in the face, and then a few days later, used electricity, punched me in the stomach. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part for me was just hearing other people screaming, hearing women screaming, women being tortured. It was just crazy.
The Russians released Swady from prison several weeks ago, but he says he didn't have a passport, and that's why he couldn't leave Russian-held land.
I felt quite trapped. I wasn't sure where things were moving, but I was still a little bit relieved because I just got out of prison, so I could walk, I could feel the sunshine on my skin, so that was still better than being in basements and prisons.
This was Swady earlier this month, staying in what Ukrainian officials describe as a safe location in the Russian-occupied city of Donetsk in eastern Ukraine. Tonight, he is free and focused on the what next.
How much are you looking forward to getting back to America and seeing your family?
I'm quite excited, So I can't wait to see my mom, my father, everybody, and I can't wait for hot showers. So I haven't had hot showers in a while.
I'm sure that will feel tremendous after all he has endured. Tom Sufi Burridge joins us tonight from Ukraine. Tom, what's next for Murakazi?
Yeah, Lindsay, tonight, Swady Murakazi is in Kiev. The Ukrainians will surely want to ask him about his time in Russian-controlled territory. But when he gets home to the US, he said he can't wait to have a peanut butter sandwich, something he was dreaming about when in a Russian prison. Lindsay?
All the comforts of home. All right, Tom, our thanks to you. Next, in the new details from that violent attack on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, during a court hearing for his alleged assailant today. Prosecutors presented chilling evidence from the attack, including Paul Pelosi's 911 call, as well as body camera video from the responding officers showing the altercation. Here's ABC's Mo Broadway.
Tonight, a California judge deciding Paul Pelosi's alleged attacker, David DePape, will face trial on multiple charges, including attempted murder. Though news cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom, tonight, for the first time, prosecutors played body camera video showing the moment 42-year-old DePape allegedly attacked Pelosi with a hammer, fracturing his skull. Officers testifying today said DePape was on a suicide mission when he broke into the Pelosi's San Francisco home back in October, looking to take the House Speaker hostage. Investigators say DePape brought a sleeping bag and a backpack containing a laptop and a passport and had a hit list that included California Governor Gavin Newsom, actor Tom Hanks, and President Biden's son, Hunter. Speaker Pelosi was not home at the time of the break-in. Today, prosecutors playing Paul Pelosi's 911 call, asking the operator, "Are the Capitol Police around? I got a problem. A gentleman just came into my house waiting for my wife to come home." The operator asks, "What is your name?" Pelosi responds, "Paul Pelosi. He told me to put down the phone." The operator asks, "What is his name?" A voice could be heard saying, "David DePape." Prosecutors identifying that voice as DePape's. Prosecutors today showing the judge the hammer allegedly used in the assault. Pelosi continues to recover from his injuries. Today, appearing alongside his wife at the Capitol as the Speaker's portrait was unveiled.
Glad he was able to be there for that in person. Mola Lange joins us. Now, Mola, what's next for the defendant?
Well, Lindsay, DePape is due back in court for an arraignment on these state charges on December 28th. Now, you might remember that he's also facing multiple federal charges. He has pleaded not guilty to all state and federal charges, and he's currently being held without bail, Lindsay.
All right, Mola Lange for us. Thanks so much, Mola. Tonight, we are tracking a string of deadly tornadoes with a mother and her young son among the dead. Take a look at the new images coming in tonight of a funnel cloud right outside of New Orleans in Jefferson Parish. And these tornadoes are part of a massive system bringing snow, blizzard conditions, rain, and ice across the country. Rob Marciano will have the track in a moment. But first, he has more on the tornadoes and this massive storm.
Tonight, relentless storms raking the South, taking aim at a major city. New Orleans.
We have a tornado on the ground. I believe I saw near Marrero and over just east of New Orleans.
Unbelievable. On the bottom of Canal Street under a tornado warning, and there's been pieces of building materials, roofing materials, a lot of insulation that's been flying out of the sky. New Orleans is getting hit by a tornado right now.
Whoa, look at that.
The confirmed tornado causing damage and knocking out power. In New Iberia, a driver catching this video of a massive confirmed tornado crossing the roadway. The New Iberia Medical Center hit hard. Windows blown out, at least 5 injured.
They are rescuing people who are trapped inside of their houses. There is power lines down and live in the area.
South of Shreveport overnight, widespread destruction in the town of Four Forks. And 100 miles east in Farmerville,
I heard a rushing wind like a train.
Patsy Andrews rode out the tornado in her home with her 4 children.
We got in the tub, and we just got in the tub and we hugged each other. We just kept praying.
In Keithville, first responders finding the bodies of Yoshiko Smith and her 8-year-old son, Nicholas. His father was at work when the storm hit, and he led rescuers to the scene. The system stretching some 1,500 miles north, churning out blinding blizzard conditions. Our Trevor Ault in Duluth, Minnesota.
We could get as much as 2 feet of snow here, and the winds are just biting. We've got a roiling Lake Superior here. It's not frozen yet, obviously. All that water is just fuel for more precipitation.
The system now threatening to bring that heavy snow to parts of the Northeast.
Sounds like it's going to be a white Christmas for many. Rob Marciano joins us now from New Orleans. Rob, this is quite a large storm. Take us through the tornado threat tonight and then where this is all heading next.
Well, it's been a chaotic afternoon here in southeast Louisiana. I can tell you that. Just an hour or so ago, that tornado came just to our south, rain-wrapped, and we're getting reports of significant damage just near the lower 9th Ward. So we'll explore that later on tonight, and hopefully there are no injuries or fatalities to be reported there. But yeah, you're right. Tornado threat continues tonight. The tornado watch will likely be extended east of Mobile, where it is right now, into the Florida Peninsula. These storms are beginning to pick up speed and will accelerate towards the Florida Peninsula itself tomorrow from Tampa up through, say, Daytona Beach and Jacksonville, getting into almost Savannah. We'll see not so much a risk of tornadoes by tomorrow afternoon, but certainly damaging storms, and that's going to be dicey at times, but the next few hours are going to be the most life-threatening, I think. Then into the Northeast, as always, this has been a northern part of this storm. We still have some blizzard conditions across parts of the upper Midwest. Tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night, the snow and rain and wind get to the Northeast. I think any snow in the bigger cities near the coastline will quickly change over to rain, but the snow interior will be significant before it clears out late Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon. Winter storm warnings are posted, and ice storm warnings as well for the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Shenandoah Valley there, so that's going to be dangerous conditions for sure if you live in that area. Anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of snow, and it could be wet snow in spots from Pennsylvania to Maine before this thing clears out, and I think some spots in the Catskills, the Adirondacks, and the mountains of Vermont, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire could easily see over a foot of snow before this thing is done. And Lindsay, this storm has brought all 48 states some impacts, and it has everything from tornadoes to floods to winds and snow. Crazy storm. Lindsay?
Yeah, dangerous conditions for varying reasons. Rob Marciano, our thanks to you as always. The surge of migrants continues to grow at the southern border near El Paso, Texas. This despite the fact that it's getting colder. People have wrapped themselves in blankets waiting for the opportunity to cross over. Authorities are worried that the situation could get worse as the Trump-era policy of Title 42 is set to expire, which allowed migrants to be expelled without the opportunity to apply for asylum. That rule could end within days. He was a lot more than a dancer, and that's why the news of Stephen Twitch Boss's death quickly ricocheted across social media. Matt Gutman has more on the shocking loss of the energetic DJ for the Ellen DeGeneres show, who was also a husband and father of 3.
Tonight, tributes pouring in for DJ Stephen Boss. Known as Twitch, he was a dancer, DJ, social media supernova, and lovable sidekick on The Ellen Show. Police saying the 40-year-old died by suicide early Tuesday at a Los Angeles hotel. In a statement, his wife, Allison Holker Boss, writing, "Stephen lit up every room he stepped into. He was the backbone of our family, the best husband and father, and an inspiration to his fans.
My favorite dancer, Twitch, everybody.
He'd first come onto The Ellen Show as a dancer. But it was his effortless charm and authenticity that made him a fixture on the show, and then its co-executive producer. When the show ended, Ellen sending him off with this tearful tribute.
Well, I don't want to say goodbye.
And those words they said to each other after every show.
I love you like crazy.
I'm sorry. I was not prepared. I love you.
Tonight, Ellen saying in a statement, he was my family, and I loved him with all my heart. Above all, he was a dad and husband. His wife writing, we love you, we miss you. I will always save the last dance for you.
And Lindsay, if anyone out there watching has been struggling with thoughts of suicide, text or call 988. That's the crisis line. Free help is available 24/7. You know, there's been so much of an outpouring from the entertainment industry, but perhaps Twitch's friend, Justin Timberlake, put it best, tweeting, you just never know what someone is really going through. Lindsay.
So true, Matt. Thank you. When we come back, the moment police say 3 suspects pulled off an ambush attack, firing at the victims as they left a business. How a 27-year-old playwright is making history on Broadway and getting some major support from big names in Hollywood. But first, legalizing marijuana has regulated the industry and generated tax revenue. But officials in Oregon say it's also created a black market for cartels, one that thrives on human trafficking. We take a look at the human cost. This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7 straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes.
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Bring your friends. Bring them on.
If only there was a place in the morning to start my day. With a smile, somewhere to help me get in the know. A place as spectacular as, well, me.
I think we might know a place, right, guys? Bring your friends.
Oh, wait, there is.
Good morning, America.
GMA, 7A, every day. Boom, boom, boom.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Robin. Good morning, America. How are you?
Boom. Now that's how you start your day, people.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
How cute.
Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 12 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
With so much happening these days, it's hard to keep up.
Things change hour by hour, minute by minute.
The historic weather that's now unfolding.
The worries on Wall Street.
We're bringing you the Right Now. Been a nationwide teacher shortage.
The Right Now look at the day ahead. An alert this morning for dog owners and the key takeaways from the biggest stories.
World News Now and America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Today does feel a little different. Early mornings on ABC News Live.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television. So, what's good to read? And we mean really good to read right now. Well, that's where Charlie and Kate Gibson can help.
Join us for the new podcast series. It is called The Bookcase with Kate and Charlie.
We will make sure you love what you read.
Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
As of today, in a big way, we have inaugurated abcnews.com.
A lot has changed in our world since Peter made that announcement. But what hasn't changed is the commitment to groundbreaking reporting and innovation at abcnews.com. And here's to everything ahead.
Take a look at what police in Northern California are calling an ambush attack. Investigators say 3 suspects waited for the victims outside of a local business, opening fire when they stepped out. One of the victims was struck in the shoulder. The other returned fire, and the suspects drove off but were later arrested. Police say the suspects left behind an assault pistol and a handgun. The victim who was shot is now recovering. Tonight, we bring you part 2 of our year-long reporting of the underbelly of the illegal marijuana operations happening right here in the U.S. Our Maria Villarreal brings us the stories of 2 undocumented women who thought that they had been granted a reliable work opportunity in the marijuana fields, only to find out they would become narco slaves.
The state of Oregon was one of the first to legalize the growing of recreational marijuana. The goal was to regulate the industry and generate tax revenue.
This is the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Exit the building and walk towards the large green vehicle.
Instead, in the last 8 years, authorities say the legalization of recreational marijuana in states around the country created a breeding ground for black market pot, often grown by the cartels.
One more.
This is the underbelly of legalization, an ugly, out-of-control problem that thrives on human trafficking.
It's the human factor, to see the conditions that these people are being put in every single day to the point that they're literally dying is heartbreaking. And it's heartbreaking that it's rampant.
A veces me quisiera ir a México. Le han dado muchas ganas de regresar. Pero pues ya estoy aquí, ya tengo que aguantar. He llorado y he querido ir cuando hablo con mi familia, pues lloro. Pero ellos jamás saben de nada de esto. Horrible, te sientes humillada, pisoteada, te sientes burlada. Con ganas de morirte.
Over a year ago, a woman we will call Alejandra fled Mexico, risking her life to cross the border with the hope of finding a job to provide for her 3 children. Now determined to tell her story, but worried the cartels could come after her, she asked us to distort her voice and not show her face. Alejandra shared this video of her scaling over the U.S.-Mexico border wall. She tells us she fell 13 feet trying to cross into the United States, limping as she walked further into Texas.
Caminé 5 horas. Estuve 5 horas caminando o arrastrándome. Nos persiguió 1 hora la migra. Y de repente, cuando menos se metía entre los carros, se metía entre el tráfico y lo perdimos, no supimos ni dónde.
She spent 2 months in El Paso working as she recovered, eventually deciding to move to Oregon.
La persona que me llevó a Ciudad Juárez me recomendó que en Oregon era mejor pagado. Esa persona había trabajado ahí por 5 años y le fue muy bien.
Alejandra says she accepted a job at a farm near Medford, Oregon. She had 9 years of experience in agriculture, and initially, nothing about the job seemed out of the ordinary.
Nos dieron el trabajo, íbamos a estar 15 días trabajando nada más y que nos pagarían cada semana.
The day they arrived, Alejandra says the managers treated them well. But a day later, things took a dramatic turn.
Una persona y yo intenté salir porque quería mis pastillas, porque yo tengo colesterol. Con la pistola en mano nos dijo, nadie sale de aquí. Nadie sale de aquí hasta que no terminen la moto de trimear. Nadie ni sale, nadie entra.
Alejandra had worked trimming marijuana plants before, but she says never under conditions like this.
Éramos prisioneros porque no podíamos salir. Trabajábamos demasiado, desde las 6 de la mañana hasta las 2, 3 de la mañana trabajábamos. nos presionaban para que trabajáramos más rápido la mota. Ahí en el campamento habían 3 hombres armados y siempre andaban observándonos a ver qué hacíamos, siempre andaban checando a ver qué es lo que andábamos haciendo. Nos seguían. Los teléfonos pues no agarraban nada, no teníamos señal. Siempre se ponían bien locos. Cuando le preguntaban que cuándo iba a ser la paga, sí se saltaban. Abusan en el pago, abusan de que lo tratan a uno como si fuera un animal. Es un miedo que pues tú piensas que a lo mejor ya no ibas a regresar. Ya. Siempre pensé en mis hijos, en mi madre, que pues que los volviera a ver. Personas están abusando demasiado de la gente, más de las que no tenemos papeles, los indocumentados.
Experts say these workers are vulnerable and desperate, making them easy targets for exploitation by cartels and others.
So you have all of these issues going on, and what does that force migrant communities to do? Where are they going for work?
We've seen even people, walking here for months that have come up here, other ones who are being contracted in their hometowns. So when they get here, then they're expecting a certain type of employment, like they're expecting to be working in the strawberries or grapes or something. So then they take them up into the illegal marijuana fields.
The NGO UNETE has been fighting for migrant farm worker rights for over 2 decades. They step in after a raid to make sure farm workers have access to food and shelter. Many are from Central America.
Honduras, they're having the huge hurricanes. Much of that is related to climate change. In Guatemala, extreme droughts where people who are really subsistence farmers that survive on really what they produce, there's nothing. So these families, when they get this promise of, hey, you can make, this much money an hour and you're gonna be making, thousands of dollars and you can bring it home to your family. Well, of course, they're desperate. They're totally at the mercy of the people who are their contractors.
Authorities say this allows the illegal farms, often controlled by the cartels, to have total control over the lives of workers. Most workers, if not all, are undocumented. They worry about being deported, about being hurt, or even worse, having the cartels go after their families back in their home countries.
They don't have any access to be able to contact agencies like us or be able to contact law enforcement. I think just that level of fear and the fear that their families might be harmed, they're just willing to just keep quiet. Most of them don't want to be working in the marijuana fields, but it's their only option.
Pues yo cuando empecé en el 2021, fuimos y nos llevaron ahí a trabajar en el GEN. Quieren ellos, es como si fueras al trabajo de la uva, vas a ir y venir. Y cuando llegamos ahí no fue así.
Another woman we will call Maria, who also asked us to conceal her face and alter her voice, says she heard about a job in Oregon through someone that called themselves a contractor. They didn't verify her immigration status, and they paid well.
Llegamos y empezamos a trabajar y ya cuando pues uno dice ya a las 5 pues nos vamos.
Maria says there were armed men guarding the doors. When she asked about them, she was told they were protecting the crops from thieves. But just like in Alejandra's case, she says when the workers were ready to leave, they were stopped by the guards.
No podíamos salir hasta que se terminara la cosecha.
How long was that? ¿Cuántos meses o semanas o?
Lo que durara.
¿Y cómo se mira en el campo? ¿Hay baños ahí?
No.
¿Hay camas?
No.
¿Dónde acostaron?
En el piso o en colchones inflables.
¿Y cuántas personas están ahí contigo?
Había muchas. Había muchas.
Maria says there were almost 200 workers in that illegal farm. She says in the middle of August, in the summer heat, they were forced to work from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. The guards would determine when they would wake up, eat, and go to bed.
¿Y cómo se escapó
Nosotros salimos porque cayó la policía. Fue temprano, como a las 6 de la mañana. Estaba todavía la mayoría todavía dormidos. Cuando cayó el policía, escuchamos primero una avioneta y helicópteros y un dron andaba. Y luego llegaron los carros, yo no sé, andaban vestidos de militar, lo que se llegaron. Y pues la gente toda corría.
¿Dónde corrieron?
Al monte, al campo, a escondernos.
¿Tenía miedo?
Sí.
¿De la policía?
De todo. No sabíamos por qué había hombres armados. No sabíamos de quién escondernos.
Maria told us she hid for 12 hours in the brush, then walked back to camp, finding everything and everyone gone.
¿Por qué no hablaron con la policía?
Por miedo también de que nos echaran a la cárcel o algo.
¿Creen que van a deportar?
Tal vez sí.
Alejandra and Maria's stories are just two among thousands. Last December, Oregon lawmakers agreed the problem with illegal pot farms was out of control, recognizing the cartels had infiltrated their industry and migrants were being trafficked to work the fields. But help can't come fast enough.
Con miedo, siempre que vamos así, vamos a los trabajos, cuando hay, pues con miedo, pero pues tenemos que trabajar.
Alejandra and Maria both say they never got paid for their work. The contractors vanished, leaving the women with nothing but bad memories and the fear it will happen again.
Pues es difícil recordar todo eso y sin poder hablar porque pues uno no conoce a las personas. ¿Qué tal si toman represalias contra uno, con la familia que uno tiene? Por eso es mejor quedarse callado.
Our thanks to Maria. Be sure to catch our half-hour special THC, The Human Cost, tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern here on ABC News Live or anytime on Hulu. Still ahead here on Prime, new details tonight after the arrest of FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried. What we're learning tonight. Rapper Gunna pleads guilty in a case that used lyrics to indict him and rapper Young Thug. What this means for his sentence. And the World Cup showdown is set, folks. Vamos, vamos, Argentina. Vive la France. We'll take a look at the finals by the numbers. But first, our post of the day from our friend and colleague Deborah Roberts about the surprise her husband Al Roker got from his colleagues at the Today Show after his recent health battles. We are certainly wishing him a speedy recovery.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now. We're making magic. We're making magic.
With so much at stake in our world right now, we wanted to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
This was a terrible experience.
Ticketmaster gaslighting us. The website fully crashed.
Nightmare.
So what went wrong?
Everything?
This is really unprecedented.
All of these things were preventable.
Does any part of you blame Taylor?
Ticketmaster or whomever else has to figure out how to solve this before Beyonce announces her tour.
Taylor's Ticketmaster disaster. Impact by Nightline. Now streaming on Hulu.
Zoo! 200!
Oh, 200. 200 episodes of Dr. Pol. Oh. Music to my ears.
It's been 10 years, and I'm still having fun.
That rocks. He's got the moves that make your animals groove.
Now we do the dance of joy.
He's like the Justin Bieber of the
Headlining the hottest barns.
Shout out.
It's a show you won't want to miss.
I'm not going to be here forever. Maybe.
The Incredible Dr. Pol. New episodes Saturdays at 9 on Nat Geo Wild.
This is ABC News Live Prime.
Thanks so much for streaming with us.
Live reporting, breaking news, exclusives, award-winning, powerful, eye-opening. ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis, streaming weeknights. So, what's good to read? And we mean really good to read right now. Well, that's where Charlie and Kate Gibson can help.
Join us for the new podcast series. It is called The Bookcase with Kate and Charlie.
We will make sure you love what you read.
Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back, everyone. The World Cup final matchup is set. Let's take a look by the numbers. Argentina's dominating 3-0 win over Croatia Tuesday gave them the first spot in the final. And France's 2-0 win today over underdog Morocco puts them back in the World Cup final for the second tournament in a row. France took home the trophy back in 2018, and they're now seeking to become the first squad in 60 years to repeat as champs when Pelé helped lead Brazil to wins in 1958 and 1962. For Argentina, it's been 36 years since their last World Cup championship when legend Diego Maradona led the squad over West Germany back in 1986. Argentina last appeared in a World Cup final in 2014, but star Lionel Messi and his squad fell short to Germany in extra time. The 35-year-old Messi has scored 11 goals in 4 World Cups. He says this tournament will be his last. The question now is whether he can complete his resume as one of the greatest to ever play the game. France's 23-year-old star Mbappe has played in just 2 World Cups, but he's already a champion from 2018, and he scored 9 World Cup goals for France, including 5 this year, tying him with Messi as the tournament's top scorer. We'll find out who comes out on top when they face off on Sunday. And we still have lots to get to here on Prime tonight. An autopsy is now revealing the cause of death for a journalist who died while covering the World Cup. As the Federal Reserve makes yet another decision on rate hikes, we take a look at how they make those decisions and who's part of those discussions. But first, a look at our top trending stories on abcnews.com.
With so much happening these days, it's hard to keep up.
Things change hour by hour, minute by minute.
The historic weather that's now unfolding.
The worries on Wall Street.
We're bringing you the Right Now. Been a nationwide teacher shortage.
The Right Now look at the day ahead. An alert this morning for dog owners and the key takeaways from the biggest stories.
World News Now and America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Today does feel a little different. Early mornings on ABC News Live.
This is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now. We're making magic. We're making magic.
This was a terrible experience.
Ticketmaster gaslighting us. The website fully crashed.
Nightmare.
So what went wrong?
Everything.
This is really unprecedented.
All of these things were preventable.
Does any part of you blame Taylor?
Ticketmaster or whomever else has to figure out how to solve this before Beyonce announces her tour.
Taylor's Ticketmaster disaster. Impact by Nightline. Now streaming on Hulu.
The world-famous Chippendale.
You would have never thought Chippendales would be surrounded with murder.
The contrast between the fun, campy performance and behind the scenes, it's literally murderous.
Let me tell you the part you don't know.
Success can go murderously wrong.
It's really explosive.
2020, Friday at 9/8 Central on ABC.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Now streaming on ABC News Live 2020. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues, The Hunt. True crime 2020. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 12 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
The Senate Banking Committee convening a hearing Wednesday focused on cryptocurrency and the collapse of leading crypto firm FTX. Millionaire investor Kevin O'Leary testifying.
In fact, the recent collapse of crypto companies has a silver lining. This nascent industry is culling its herd.
Hours earlier, disgraced former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried led away in handcuffs after a Bahamian judge denied his bail, calling him a flight risk. Bankman-Fried now attempting to fight extradition back to the U.S., where he's facing civil charges from the SEC and 8 counts of criminal fraud filed by the Justice Department, including money laundering and wire fraud. Bankman-Fried, known for donating millions to Republican and Democratic political candidates, also accused of campaign finance violations. Federal authorities estimate FTX customers were defrauded of more than $8 billion. At its height, FTX was valued at $32 billion.
Atlanta rapper Gunna has been released from prison after pleading guilty in a RICO case. The rapper, who is charged with 1 count of conspiring to violate the RICO Act, said he entered an Alford plea in which he pled guilty to a charge while maintaining his innocence. He was sentenced to 5 years, with 1 served in prison and the other 4 years suspended. Gunna, fellow rapper Young Thug, and dozens of others were arrested in a sweeping indictment against alleged members of YSL, which prosecutors claimed was a gang that has committed multiple murders, shootings, and carjackings over the course of a decade and promoted those acts in song lyrics which were used as evidence. Gunna acknowledged his association with YSL and said he did not consider it a gang when he joined and that his focus was on entertainment.
Oregon Governor Kate Brown has commuted the death sentences for all 17 death row inmates in the state. Their sentences have all been changed to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Brown, who is leaving office next month, said she has, quote, long believed that justice is not advanced by taking a life, in explaining why she felt that Oregon should not execute prisoners. There has been a moratorium on executions in the state since 2011. A Florida pastor and his son have been arrested in a case of alleged COVID-19 relief fraud. Evan Edwards and his son Josh Edwards are accused of stealing more than $8 million in federal COVID relief funds. Prosecutors say Josh Edwards falsified documents to obtain a PPP loan for the family ministry in 2020. The money was allegedly used to try to purchase a mansion in Orlando. The two face several charges, including bank fraud.
New details on the cause of death for soccer journalist Grant Wall. He collapsed while covering the World Cup in Qatar last weekend.
Dr. Celine Gounder, Wall's widow, posted on the online publishing platform Substack that an autopsy was performed in New York, revealing Wall died from an aortic aneurysm that suddenly ruptured. Wall's brother Eric raised eyebrows when he posted on Instagram hours after Wall's death that Wall might have been killed for his work criticizing Qatar's anti-LGBTQ policies that involved his detention for wearing a rainbow-themed t-shirt to the World Cup opener, but Wall's widow says there was no foul play.
A major honor for the late Congressman John Lewis. The U.S. Postal Service announced the civil rights leader would be honored with a postage stamp in 2023. The USPS says the stamp will celebrate Lewis's life and legacy, highlighting the late Georgia congressman's more than 30 years in office spent defending and building on civil rights gains he helped achieve. Lewis died in 2020 at the age of 80.
Welcome back. 10 years ago on this day, the grief in Sandy Hook, Connecticut was immeasurable. It was December 14th of 2012 when 20 innocent first graders and 6 staff members at Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown, Connecticut were shot and killed. Since that day, there have been more than 900 school shootings. As President Biden renewed his call to ban assault weapons today, he said we should have societal guilt for taking too long to deal with this problem. Jackie Haggerty survived the shooting when she was just 7 years old. 10 years later, she reflects on what her healing journey has been like throughout the past decade and how connecting with other school shooting survivors across the country has helped her. Here's a look at the Dear Future Survivors Project.
It doesn't define who we are, but it is a big part of our identity. You know, we are Sandy Hook survivors. Even 10 years later, it still affects us. My name is Jackie Haggerty. I'm 17 years old. I'm a Sandy Hook survivor, and I'm here at the Sandy Hook Memorial. After the 10 years, and there finally being a place where, you know, we can remember the victims of this event, it gives me a little bit of relief knowing that we're putting more of the emphasis on the victims rather than the event itself. 10 years ago, I think that I was very afraid of showing my emotions. Now I'm so open about it because I want to show other people that it's okay to break down, to have these emotional responses to something because it was so traumatic. We've all grown in very different ways, and we've all coped in very different ways. It's been a very big healing process for a lot of us. When you go through something like this, you feel like you're alone. And I don't really want anybody to feel like they're alone. We've kind of created this survivors network a little bit. You know, I've friends with people from Oxford. You know, I know some people from Uvalde, some people from Columbine, all these communities that have been affected by gun violence. And it feels really good to meet other people who have shared this awful experience because unfortunately we do have that bond, but it's also knowing that someone understands you. I think meeting with Uvalde children really hit me hard. Speaking with them kind of showed me that this kind of thing is still happening. I made a promise to myself that no one would ever have to go through what we went through, and that is broken time after time after time. And I'm really hoping that our survivor network will continue to work together for change and rely on each other so that no other 7-year-old has to go through something like that.
Now to the economy and your money in a tough transition here. The Federal Reserve has issued a new interest rate hike, raising its benchmark rate 0.5%. This is now the 7th interest hike of the year. So how does the Federal Reserve decide whether or not to raise rates, and who in the organization is making that choice? Here to break it all down is ABC's Elizabeth Scholze in our segment, Bring on the Econ.
The Federal Reserve, aka the Fed, is one of the most important institutions in the global economy today. Chances are you've heard the Fed is raising interest rates to try to cool off red-hot inflation. It's one of the central bank's 2 main tasks, keeping inflation in check and keeping the jobs market healthy. Let's start with how the Fed controls inflation. Basically, the Fed makes the cost of borrowing money more expensive so that consumers like you and me think twice before we take out a loan and spend our dollars. When fewer dollars are floating around in the economy, prices and inflation should go down. So how exactly does the Fed raise interest rates in the first place, and who are the people there calling the shots? To understand the answer, we have to go back to the early 1900s. After a series of bank runs and financial panics, the Federal Reserve Act was passed by Congress in 1913. It established the central bank as an institution that operates independently from Congress or the White House. The Fed doesn't report to any other agency. It's pretty much its own boss, but it does give regular reports on the status of the economy to Congress. Leaders of the Fed aren't elected by the public. They're handpicked by the president and approved by the Senate. Fed chairs are typically not politicians, but economists who've spent their careers at banks, universities, or government agencies. and their terms don't coincide with elections. So a Fed chair appointed by a Republican president could still be in charge, even if a Democrat is in the White House. The current Fed chair, Jerome Powell, was appointed by former President Trump in 2018.
He's strong, he's committed, he's smart.
And reappointed by President Biden this year.
I'm nominating Jerome Powell for a second term as chair of the Federal Reserve.
Every term lasts 4 years. 8 times a year, the Fed chair and leaders of regional Fed banks from across the country meet to vote on whether to raise, lower, or keep interest rates the same, changing how expensive it is for you or me to borrow money. That brings us to the Fed's second task, keeping unemployment low. At the same time that the Fed wants to tame inflation, it also wants to make sure that everyone in the economy who wants a job is able to get one. If the Fed raises interest rates too high or too fast, costs can become too expensive for businesses, forcing them to lay off workers. High interest rates hurt consumers, too. Think of it this way. When interest rates rise from 3% to 6%, the payment on a $300,000 fixed 30-year mortgage goes up by more than $500 every month. When the Fed votes to hike rates, it's not actually raising the rate on your mortgage. Instead, it's charging banks more money to borrow from the government. Banks then charge consumers more money to cover their added costs. So a Fed rate hike ripples across the economy, all the way down to your wallet.
Our thanks to Elizabeth Schulze for that. It is a moment that many wait decades for, but one man is doing it at just 27 years old. Jordan E. Cooper is the youngest black playwright in Broadway history with his debut production, Ain't No Mo, and he's getting a stamp of approval from some big names in the entertainment world, including movie director Lee Daniels, who loved it so much he produced it, making his Broadway debut as well. Earlier, I sat down with both of them to discuss how this play shines a new light on the black experience. Let's start with you, Jordan. 27 years old, youngest playwright. Out Magazine named you one of their entertainers of the year. How did you come up with the concept for Ain't No Mo?
You know, Ain't No Mo really came from my own pain in a lot of ways. I have a very dark sense of humor. And I needed to find something to laugh at when all these unarmed black men and black women were being killed and murdered. Like, let's forget it. Let's forget America. Let's forget all the trials and tribulations that come with it. And let's go back to Africa, thinking of it as some promised land.
How do it feel being the first transracial cast member on the show?
A bold, satirical play, Ain't No Mo, focuses on what it means to be black in America and the country's attempt to end racism by offering black Americans a one-way ticket to Africa.
And would you, if that flight existed?
Listen, if I could take everything, if I could take the music and the joy and the cookouts and the food and I would go. But I feel like the thing is, which is what the play started asking when I started to really get into it, is, you know, all that blood that is in the soil of America.
I'm definitely, absolutely, positively free!
That helped build this country out of sticks and stones. I would just be leaving all that behind. All that hard work, all that legacy, all that pain, all those tears, all that laughter, all that art, I would be leaving behind because it's hard. It's easy to kind of leave. But I think as I started writing Ain't No Mo, I started realizing, oh, I can't separate myself from it. I wrote a love and a loathe letter to America. The idea that you can love something that was never meant for you. It was never built for me. It was never meant for me, but somehow I found a way to love it. And I think the same thing about the American theater, you know? It wasn't built for me.
Award-winning director and producer Lee Daniels instantly fell for this provocative, high-voltage play, ultimately deciding to produce it as his first Broadway show.
A love and a loathe letter at the same time. That is deep. What attracted you to Ain't No Mo? Like, why did you decide, I have to do this project?
Everything that he just said. It is probably the most profound, the most prolific piece of material that I've ever worked on, ever. And I've worked on some pretty profound stuff. It just knocked my socks off. And I knew that, the world had to see it.
Powerful performances reverberate within the gilded walls of Belasco Theater, followed by yells, belly laughs, and emotional reactions from the audience.
And I'm curious, too, just because in our culture, there is very much a call and response, right?
Yes.
And perhaps that is born in the black church. But I was struck by in the very beginning, it's loud and it's involved and it's engaged in the crowd.
He starts off with a bang.
After your leader is your... Nobody used the word.
Because we don't have that on Broadway. It's call and response.
It's to let you know that this is not a normal theatrical event. And I wanted to create something that I could shout if I wanted to shout in, you know? And I wanted to let other people come and actually engage. That's what theater is supposed to be about. It's an engaging art.
Beyond audience engagement, the show is flush with thought-provoking metaphors and symbolism throughout.
Tell me about Miss Bag.
Miss Bag.
Miss Bag.
Miss Bag will be the carrier of our entire story as a people in this country as we make this glorious transition.
So Miss Bag is a bag. She's this glorious, beautiful, beautiful bag who's the carrier of our entire story as a people in this country. And Miss Bag is basically carrying everything that we've ever created and contributed lives inside of this bag.
When you were writing the character of Peaches, did you anticipate all along to play that role?
No, not at all. I was scared to write it, let alone be in it. I hadn't written a queer character before, and I remember Stevie was like reading some of my other plays, and he was like, "These are great, but when are you gonna write a queer character? Like, what's your queer character?" And my internalized homophobic self, I was like, "What queer character? I would never write a queer." You know what I mean? I would never. And I sat down and thinking about, you know, Black people leaving this country and who we are as a people. I also think about the issues that we have within our own community. And I think about what would it be if the blackest, queerest person was the one that everybody had to depend on to get on the plane. And that's where Peaches came from, this unapologetic, bold spirit.
What's the message? I mean, because as I was watching it, I felt like there's a lot to unpack here. I think I'm getting it. I think I'm pretty knowledgeable, but I'm sure there's a lot that escaped me.
There's a lot of messages, but the overall arcing message for me is to be proud of where we come from and to be proud of who we are, you know. It's not easy being Black in America.
The show is expected to close later this month, one of many Broadway shows helmed by creators of color forced to end early. But the play attempts to show that while this is about the Black experience, it's difficult to separate that from the American experience because of just how deeply rooted Black culture is in this country.
We took mud and sticks and stones and bricks, and we created something called a culture out of nothing, out of absolutely nothing. And those stones and those bricks and those sticks must be so beautiful because now everybody wants to live in that house called Black culture. And I think that that's really what the play is to be proud of everything that we fought for. It's hard as hell to fight, but to be proud of the battle. The blood that is in the soil that our ancestors bled is something to be proud of and cherished because they did it so we wouldn't have to.
Our thanks to Lee and Jordan for that. Before we go tonight, the image of the day, an aerial view of people gathering today at the permanent Sandy Hook Memorial 10 years later. Our hearts remain with that community and the families forever changed. And that is our show for this hour. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Up in the next hour, we're staying on top of a few things. The scheme federal officials say a group of social media influencers used to bring in more than $100 million. And the crisis at the border with long lines and facilities already at capacity. And authorities say it could soon get even worse. Our reporter's on the ground in Mexico when we return.
With so much at stake in our world right now, we wanted to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
After an extraordinary news-making year, thank you for making ABC's This Week America's #1 news and politics show on Sunday mornings.
You never know what you're going to get on this show. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yes, Whoopi! Is this mic on? Can you hear me out there? Behind the scenes is always a better show.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what people don't see during the commercial breaks.
Right, they don't.
What happened?
I had no idea really what I was getting myself into.
That day that we walked out, I treasure that day.
I couldn't sit there.
You're doing good, Joy. You're doing good. Oh, yeah, baby.
It was crazy.
Behind the Table. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
From America's #1 news source comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter. And it can customize to you and your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience what all the buzz is about. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now. We're honored ABC's 2020 winner of 3 Emmy Awards for Excellence. Thank you for making 2020 Friday night's most watched and most honored news magazine.
This is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now. We're making magic. We're making magic.
Hey there, I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We're monitoring several developments here at ABC News at this hour. The SEC today announced charges against 8 people in a so-called pump and dump scheme, saying that they used social media to manipulate stock trades. The SEC says that 7 of the defendants allegedly built a social media following as stock experts. They then allegedly encouraged their followers to purchase stocks that they promoted and then sold them off when the prices rose, making some $114 million in the process. The defendants have pled not guilty. More than 3,500 Americans have died from long COVID-related illnesses, according to new federal data from the CDC, looking at death certificate data from January 2020 through the end of June of 2022. The team looked for several key terms, including long COVID, long-haul COVID, chronic COVID, and post-COVID syndrome. The report found February 2022 is the month with the highest number of long COVID deaths, with 393. It's unclear still just what causes people to develop long COVID, but research is ongoing. A Missouri school district has voted to adopt a 4-day school week starting in the fall of 2023. The superintendent, who appeared on Good Morning America earlier today, said that the impetus behind it was to attract and retain staff, from teachers to bus drivers. Nationally, teachers who have walked away from the profession have cited burnout, a lack of respect, and low compensation as reasons for leaving. Next, in the new details from that violent attack on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi. During a court hearing for his alleged assailant today, prosecutors presented chilling new evidence from the attack, including Paul Pelosi's 911 call, as well as body camera video from the responding officers showing the altercation. Here's ABC's Mola Lengi.
Tonight, a California judge deciding Paul Pelosi's alleged attacker, David DePape, will face trial on multiple charges, including attempted murder. Though news cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom, tonight, for the first time, prosecutors played body camera video showing the moment 42-year-old DePape allegedly attacked Pelosi with a hammer, fracturing his skull. Officers testifying today said DePape was on a suicide mission when he broke into the Pelosi's San Francisco home back in October, looking to take the House Speaker hostage. Investigators say DePape brought a sleeping bag and a backpack containing a laptop and a passport, and had a hit list that included California Governor Gavin Newsom, actor Tom Hanks, and President Biden's son, Hunter. Speaker Pelosi was not home at the time of the break-in. Today, prosecutors playing Paul Pelosi's 911 call, asking the operator, "Are the Capitol Police around? I got a problem. A gentleman just came into my house waiting for my wife to come home." The operator asks, "What is your name?" Pelosi responds, "Paul Pelosi. He told me to put down the phone." The operator asks, "What is his name?" A voice could be heard saying, "David DePape." Prosecutors identifying that voice as DePape's. Prosecutors today showing the judge the hammer allegedly used in the assault. Pelosi continues to recover from his injuries. Today, appearing alongside his wife at the Capitol as the Speaker's portrait was unveiled.
Glad he was able to witness that in person. Our thanks to Mola. Tonight, we're tracking a string of deadly tornadoes with a mother and her young son among the dead. Take a look at the new images coming in tonight of a funnel cloud right outside of New Orleans in Jefferson Parish. And these tornadoes are part of a massive system that's bringing snow, blizzard conditions, rain, and ice across the country. Rob Marciano has more on the tornadoes and this massive storm.
Tonight, relentless storms raking the South, taking aim at a major city. New Orleans.
We have a tornado on the ground. I believe I saw near Marrero and over just east of New Orleans.
Unbelievable. On the bottom of Canal Street under a tornado warning, there's been pieces of building materials, roofing materials, a lot of insulation that's been flying out of the sky. New Orleans is getting hit by a tornado right now.
Whoa, look at that.
The confirmed tornado causing damage and knocking out power. In New Iberia, a driver catching this video of a massive confirmed tornado crossing the roadway. The New Iberia Medical Center hit hard. Windows blown out, at least 5 injured.
They are rescuing people who are trapped inside of their houses. There is power lines down and live in the area.
South of Shreveport overnight, widespread destruction in the town of Four Forks. And 100 miles east in Farmerville,
I heard a rushing wind like a train.
Patsy Andrews rode out the tornado in her home with her 4 children.
We got in the tub, and we just got in the tub and we hugged each other. We just kept praying.
In Keithville, first responders finding the bodies of Yoshiko Smith and her 8-year-old son, Nicholas. His father was at work when the storm hit, and he led rescuers to the scene. The system stretching some 1,500 miles north, churning out blinding blizzard conditions. Our Trevor Alt in Duluth, Minnesota.
We could get as much as 2 feet of snow here, and the winds are just biting. We've got a roiling Lake Superior here. It's not frozen yet, obviously. All that water is just fuel for more precipitation.
The system now threatening to bring that heavy snow to parts of the Northeast.
Sounds like it's going to be a white Christmas for many. Rob Marciano joins us now from New Orleans. Rob, this is quite a large storm. Take us through the tornado threat tonight and then where this is all heading next.
Well, it's been a chaotic afternoon here in southeast Louisiana. I can tell you that. Just an hour or so ago, that tornado came just to our south, rain wrapped, and we're getting reports of significant damage just near the lower 9th ward. So we'll explore that later on tonight, and hopefully there are no injuries or fatalities to be reported there. But yeah, you're right. Tornado threat continues tonight. The tornado watch will likely be extended east of Mobile, where it is right now, into the Florida Peninsula. These storms are beginning to pick up speed and will accelerate towards the Florida Peninsula itself tomorrow from Tampa up through, say, Daytona Beach and Jacksonville, getting it as almost Savannah. We'll see not so much a risk of tornadoes by tomorrow afternoon, but certainly damaging storms, and that's going to be dicey at times, but the next few hours are going to be the most life-threatening, I think. Then into the Northeast, as always, this has been a northern part of this storm. We still have some blizzard conditions across parts of the upper Midwest. Tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night, the snow and rain and wind get to the Northeast. I think any snow in the bigger cities near the coastline will quickly change over to rain, but the snow interior will be significant before it clears out late Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon. Winter storm warnings are posted and ice storm warnings as well for the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Shenandoah Valley there. So that's going to be dangerous conditions for sure if you live in that area. Anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of snow, and it could be wet snow in spots from Pennsylvania to Maine before this thing clears out, and I think some spots in the Catskills, the Adirondacks, and the mountains of Vermont, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire could easily see over a foot of snow before this thing is done. And Lindsay, this storm has brought all 48 states some impacts, and it has everything from tornadoes to floods to winds and snow. Crazy storm. Lindsay?
Yeah, dangerous conditions for varying reasons. Rob Marciano, our thanks to you as always. To the crisis at the southern border and the surge of migrants near El Paso, Texas. The long lines growing longer, people wrapped in blankets against the cold, waiting to cross over as we're now days away from the expiration of Title 42. ABC's Matt Rivers has the latest.
Tonight, an unprecedented situation near downtown El Paso. Hundreds of migrants fighting the bitter cold, huddling in blankets, the line to get into the United States snaking far along the banks of the Rio Grande. Across the river in Mexico, we meet Edwin and his 2-year-old son Iker from Ecuador as they look over at the U.S. for the first time.
Okay, you're crying a little bit. ¿Por qué? Because you're happy to be here. He's excited because his family has suffered a lot. He's just really happy to arrive.
They've been traveling for more than a month, and we watch as they wade across the river. Border Patrol taking in families first, so Edwin and Iker don't have to wait long. Agents bringing them up the slope to be processed. In El Paso, migrant facilities now at or over capacity. In just the last week, nearly 7,000 people have been released pending court hearings, some sleeping on the street in makeshift tents.
It is a true emergency for the community. It's a federal crisis that's happening in the border of El Paso.
Local officials say the situation is about to get even worse. Next week could see the end of Title 42, a Trump-era policy that allows for the immediate expulsion of migrants without allowing them to seek asylum. Across the border, this migrant shelter in Ciudad Juarez already filled beyond capacity.
Do you think that more people are going to be coming to it?
Yes, I think that there's going to be a great number of people. In Ciudad Juarez, I had never seen a situation like we are facing right now.
Such dire straits there. Our thanks to Matt. Next to Ukraine and a dramatic rescue mission to free a U.S. Air Force veteran captured by Russian forces in Ukraine earlier this year. ABC News was given exclusive access inside the rescue mission, which resulted in not only the release of an American, but 64 Ukrainian soldiers. Tom Sufi Burridge reports.
American Suedi Murakazi walking out of Russian-controlled territory with just a small bag of belongings, but tonight he's free.
Slava Ukraini!
Glory to Ukraine and happy liberation, says an officer from Ukrainian military intelligence who got him out.
Suedi, I'm Tom from ABC News.
Our team given exclusive access inside the rescue mission. After weeks of delicate negotiations, one man from Minnesota is heading home in time for Christmas.
I'm in Ukrainian land, so it's quite overwhelming.
Relief?
Relief, yes.
Big relief?
Quite a relief, yes.
Earlier, our team in a convoy with the Ukrainians, driving towards the front lines.
We're heading away from Ukrainian-controlled territory towards Russian-controlled land through the grey zone, effectively no man's land and the front lines. And there's effectively a 2-hour window, a ceasefire, within which the exchange has to be made. You're just about to go in and get Suedi out. How complicated are these missions?
Andrei saying 64 Ukrainian prisoners part of a swap, with Suedi allowed out of Russian-controlled territory too. Suedi had left the US to live and work in southern Ukraine in 2020. When Putin invaded, he joined the protests in his home city of Kherson. But he was later arrested, and he says when the Russians discovered pictures of him formerly serving in the US Air Force, he was tortured.
They interrogated me, punched me in the face, and then a few days later, used electricity, punched me in the stomach. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part for me was just hearing other people screaming, hearing women screaming, women being tortured. It was just crazy.
The Russians released Suedi from prison several weeks ago, but he says he didn't have a passport, and that's why he couldn't leave Russian-held land until the Ukrainians got him out today.
Glad he is back home. Our thanks to Tom. We've seen so many images from around the world of people living in poverty, starving, and even forced out of their homes because of crises happening in their home countries. According to the International Rescue Committee, in 2014, the number of people in humanitarian need was 81 million. Next year, it's expected to hit 339 million people. The IRC keeps track of countries that it says shows the greatest risk of a new humanitarian emergency. We're joined now by David Miliband, the IRC's president and CEO. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on.
So, such an important topic. Let's start out with the watch list, how you decide which countries end up on it.
So the watch list that we produce every year is based on 67 different data sources, but also critically the intelligence of our 220 field sites in 40 countries around the world that are either in conflict, countries Syria, Somalia, Ethiopia, or countries that are harboring, sheltering people who are refugees from conflict. And we take that quantitative data and the qualitative data and then produce this watch list, which this year has ranked Somalia at the top, Ethiopia, Afghanistan, Democratic Republic of Congo, Yemen. Those are the key countries at the top of the list. But here's the thing that really strikes me. Of that 20 countries on the watch list, they account for 90% of all the humanitarian need in the world.
You also talk about the accelerators. What are those?
The three accelerators that we see in our work are, first of all, conflict. That's the biggest driver of crisis today. There are 54 civil wars within states going on around the world, plus, of course, the Ukraine conflict. Those wars create humanitarian devastation. The second is the climate crisis, which is not the crisis of our children or the crisis of our grandchildren. It's today's crisis. And in countries like the US, of course, we're quite well protected. The infrastructure's resilient. But in countries like Yemen or Somalia or Ethiopia, Pakistan recently with the floods, livelihoods and infrastructure gets washed away. So the climate crisis and the climate emergency is second. And third, and this is the kicker this year, this is what's driven up the numbers so much in this year, the economic shocks, not just of the end of COVID, but more specifically, the Ukraine war driving up food prices, driving up energy prices.
And you also talk about these guardrails for communities that are affected by crises. Some of those communities that you just mentioned, like with famine, for example, what would a guardrail for something like that be?
Well, a guardrail is humanitarian aid that can keep you alive. It's medicines because, of course, malnutrition then leads into disease. It's also protection from sometimes your own government, sometimes from armed opposition groups. We're seeing the breakdown of order and of the rights of civilians in conflict around the world. So the guardrails are essentially the buffers that mean even if you can't stop the crisis, you can stop it having devastating consequences.
Are there any countries that you're considering, or you're especially concerned about because they're likely going to be on the list by next year?
Well, Ukraine's an obvious example. It's at number 10. The danger is it goes up. A country like Venezuela, surprising for people, it's exported 5 million refugees. Once you're down below the 20th, you're then having to really put your finger in the air. You don't know quite where the next crisis is going to come from.
What can people do to help?
Well, if they're Americans, they can volunteer at their local International Rescue Committee office because we are the largest refugee resettlement agency in America. I hope people use their voice as well because it's a time when global risks are rising. America's a global leader. It needs to be there standing side by side with people. And although I'm a Brit, so I don't like talking about money, we'd love your viewers to visit our website, rescue.org, and support us.
Last question. I'm an analogy person, so forgive me here if this is really apples and oranges, but I'm imagining when you have, endangered animals and you create this list to say, hey, this species is in danger of dying out, right? When you put it on a list, does it save the life of the animal? And the parallel here, I'm wondering, is by putting countries on this watch list that are in such extreme and dire peril, do you see any benefit from identifying and actually putting them on the list?
That's a really interesting point. They say in management, you manage what you measure. And if you don't measure, you're not going to manage it. So I really want to make sure that your viewers know international humanitarian action does work. There are solutions out there. What we're suffering from is too many problems and too many people focused locally where there are problems too. But if we forget the outside world, I think there are big dangers ahead.
David Miliband, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. We thank you for your time and insight.
Thanks for having me.
Tributes tonight for Stephen Boss, known as Twitch, who took his own life early Tuesday in an LA hotel. The dancer, DJ, and social media star was known as being the lovable sidekick on The Ellen Show. He was also known as being a doting husband and father, making dance videos with his wife, Allison. Twitch was 40 years old. If you're struggling with thoughts of suicide, text or call the crisis line at 988. Free help is available 24/7. And still to come, the declaration in Peru that is now suspending the right to assemble and allowing police to search homes without permission. Author and sociologist Jamie McCollum tells us how the pandemic transformed the long fight for worker justice. This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye. Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Bring them on. If only there was a place in the morning to start my day. With a smile, somewhere to help me get in the know. A place that's spectacular as well, me. I think we might know a place, right guys? Bring your friends. Oh wait, there is. Good morning, America. GMA, 7A, every day. Boom, boom, boom. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Robin. Good morning, America. How are you?
Boom. Now that's how you start your day, people.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 12 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
As of today, in a big way, we have inaugurated abcnews.com.
A lot has changed in our world since Peter made that announcement. But what hasn't changed is the commitment to groundbreaking reporting and innovation at abcnews.com. And here's to everything ahead.
Now streaming on ABC News Live 2020. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues, The Hunt. True crime 2020. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
Welcome back. We're tracking several headlines around the world. Peru's new government has declared a police state and national emergency as it struggles to calm violent protests over President Pedro Castillo's impeachment and arrest. The declaration suspends the right to assemble in public and freedom of movement. It also allows police to search people's homes without permission. It's not clear yet if a curfew will be imposed. Peru's new president has pleaded for calm, saying Peru cannot overflow with blood. Iran has been thrown off the UN Commission for Women. The U.S.-sponsored resolution today was sparked by Iran's ongoing brutal crackdown on peaceful protesters who took to the streets after the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini, who had been arrested for improperly wearing a hijab. The World Cup is final. France held on this afternoon to beat Morocco and will now face off Sunday morning against Lionel Messi and Argentina. France is trying to win its second consecutive World Cup, while Messi is trying to win his first in what he says will be his last World Cup. As many essential workers during the pandemic were risking their lives to keep us safe and to keep the country running, it uncovered the inequities that many experienced long before the pandemic started. In his new book, Essential: How the Pandemic Transformed the Long Fight for Worker Justice, author and sociologist Jamie McCollum explains how the essential workers hailed as heroes came together to fight for workers' rights. Thank you, Jamie, so much for joining us. I want to start off by just quoting something you wrote. You say, essential workers were called heroes when they went to work and treated like sacrificial lambs when they got there. Just briefly explain for us how the pandemic exposed these unseen struggles of the working class.
Yeah, so there's a rhetorical move to, identify retail workers and nurses and nursing home aides as heroes, but without really changing the material conditions under which they worked. Sure, some people got a raise, some people get some hazard pay here and there, but by and large, the workers I interviewed felt a real cognitive dissonance between the kind of public adulation they received and then the working conditions that they labored under. And some of that tension, I think, is really what gave rise to sort of a pandemic labor movement.
When we talk about high-risk, low-paying jobs, often we're talking about jobs that are worked by Black and brown people. Talk to us about how this fight for equality in the workplace also has these racial implications.
Sure. So the essential working class is disproportionately Black and brown and female. And most of my interview subjects were women of color for the most part. And then you had Black Lives Matter movement talking about the strike for Black lives and using the language of labor out in the streets. So there was a moment of this class that was really, that sort of transcended the workplace in a way, which is a pretty interesting development.
And one other thing that you write, you say, we all have a stake in improving the lives of those who took care of us during our darkest days. Tell us more about how you see these direct links between our collective well-being and the well-being of essential workers.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way to put it is the working conditions of essential workers are our living conditions. If teachers have what they need to do their job well, our kids will. If nurses and nursing home aides have the supplies they need to stay safe themselves, like, we will be safer. And during the pandemic, I think that was revealed in a very concrete way. Like, if your grocery store workers did not have to work multiple jobs and could therefore be lower at risk, your store was safer to go to, as a consumer.
What would you say are the structural changes and the policy solutions needed to make a difference?
We need people to be able to organize at a workplace and to form a union easily. So a lot of this research for this book uncovered or sort of revealed the idea that, like, unions are closely associated with public health. Like if your nursing home if your staff was unionized in your nursing home, then your population of residents were far less likely to die of COVID. And unions have long been associated with those kinds of things.
Do you think that there is staying power, though? I mean, we see all the attempts to unionize at Amazon or Starbucks, and it seemed like that kind of was born out of the pandemic. As we move potentially further away from the pandemic, do you feel that that'll remain?
The staying power of the movement? Yeah, I mean, I think the labor movement that we see now, the explosions at Amazon and Starbucks and the UC system and other places across the country, you know, organizing and like workplace militancy is up like tenfold. And that spirit was animated by the pandemic.
What do you feel that the business owners or the corporations need to know and really truly understand about unions so that it doesn't feel like there's this yin and yang?
I think they know. I think they know. And
then why resist it?
I mean, bottom line, like, you know, unionized workers have better health care, which is often employer paid. They make more money. They work fewer hours. Like, those jobs are better, and sometimes employers feel like they lose out. What employers do get when there's a union workforce is a more stable workforce, often a more highly trained workforce, a more committed workforce, loyal. And I think that those benefits, you know, some of it we saw during the pandemic, but I think corporations don't see it that way, but there's a lot of evidence that actually that is the case.
Jamie McComley, thank you so much for coming by. Appreciate it. Want to let everyone know that his book, Essential: How the Pandemic Transformed the Long Fight for Worker Justice, is now available wherever books are sold. And still to come, the high school marching director who's teaching his students about a lot more than just music.
This was a terrible experience.
Ticketmaster gaslighting us. The website fully crashed.
A nightmare.
So what went wrong?
Everything.
This is really unprecedented.
All of these things were preventable.
Does any part of you blame Taylor?
Ticketmaster or whomever else has to figure out how to solve this before Beyonce announces her tour.
Taylor's Ticketmaster disaster. Impact by Nightline. Now streaming on Hulu. With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any place else. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir. America's #1 most watched newscast. Now streaming on ABC News Live. After an extraordinary news-making year, thank you for making ABC's This Week America's #1 news and politics show on Sunday mornings.
Zoo! 200! Oh, 200.
200 episodes of Dr. Pol. Music to my ears.
It's been 10 years, and I'm still having fun.
That rocks. He's got the moves that make your animals groove.
Now we do the dance of joy. Yay!
He's like the Justin Bieber of the
Headlining the hottest barns.
Shout out.
It's a show you won't want to miss.
I'm not going to be here forever. Maybe.
The Incredible Dr. Pol. New episodes Saturdays at 9 on Nat Geo Wild.
Finally tonight, a beloved high school marching band in our nation's capital. Despite facing financial obstacles, they continue to be a treasured fixture in their community, setting the students up for the future. Ike Ajachi gives us the heartwarming details.
Those are the sounds of the Blue and White Marching Machine, Washington, D.C.'s beloved Eastern High School Marching Band, a group that means a great deal to their school and to their community.
The band is at the heartbeat of the school. They represent us, participate in a lot of events here at DC, and they really have a lot of pride, which is why we call them the pride of Capitol Hill.
All right, good job. How do you feel, band? Like a regular star! Let's go. That pride currently being instilled in the marching band by director James Perry, who started with the band over 15 years ago when he was a kid himself.
August 2006, I got my start. That first year was really rough because I was extremely young. I looked just like the kids, to be honest. I had to learn them, they had to learn me.
Perry says he isn't just a band director, but at times a therapist, mediator, big brother, and and even a father figure.
My relationship with Mr. Perry is more of like a father-son relationship because he's a good mentor. He's really generous.
You see students who, you know, they have things going on at home, but we want this to be an outlet. We want this to be an escape from whatever they're dealing with. This is a safe space for all of our students, and they can just come here and be kids.
What Perry is most proud of, setting his students up for the highest success and seeing them soar.
All of our graduates from last year received full scholarships to their institution of choice. If they stay the course and they understand that the classroom part comes first and the band part comes second, then the opportunities are endless.
Our thanks to Ike for that, and that is our show for tonight. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Have a great night.